However, when we are talking about all this, we go back to the drawing board. This iHELP project came out of the head through a pen by virtue of the hand connecting. Are we there? So we have someone called the principal investigator or the in charge of this. Are we together? So these are the think tanks. But I want in a special way that we make any funny noise. You can even stamp for Professor Godfrey Jew. Kindly stand up for recognition. Yes. When I talked about Sister Doctor being our mentor, she is also in the same line. He has won several projects, worked with children for a long time. In Uganda, if you hear anybody as a professor in ECD, they must have worked hard. You know what I'm talking about? They must have worked hard twice in performance, but also upstairs. Because you can't be a professor in ECD before 70. From where? Certificate, you must work for some time, then you go back. Then diploma, the same. Then you go for bachelor's. So you have to get at least a master's by 50 towards the is a professor in the line. So we thank you so much, Professor, for this struggle. We have a team that is struggling to make sure these things work. The PRO team and the ICT team. We appreciate all your work. Kindly, I cannot take anything above this, but when you look at your programs, I told you we have different packages depending on time. Next on the schedule is remarks from PI. PI, we didn't want to put his name. He's a Professor Jew. Now we have officially entered our program. Thank you so much. You can also clap for me if I've been good. Hey, you know in the churches, even if you're a sinner, but it is you talking, people clap for you when you want. Thank you so much.
Hello? Hello? How are you? Welcome to Kyambogo University. I know many of you have traveled far and wide and through dust and potholes, through tarmac, maybe through air, to reach here. But finally I've reached. I want to thank you so much for coming. Thank you very much. Today marks again another wonderful day, not for us, but for the children of this country and the world at large. iHELP is much more about trying to prepare and lay a good foundation for our children so that they can become competitive in this ever-changing and dynamic world. The food is getting scarce, water is getting scarce, resources are getting scarce. But also, well-prepared people are getting scarce. When we come together to try to do all the things that we are doing through iHELP, I hope we shall be able to make a difference for the children of this country. In these 5 days that we are going to be here, not just in this room, but also outside this room, it's my sincere hope that we shall be able to share knowledge and information, which is the main goal of this project iHELP. Information sharing, knowledge gathering, to be able to scale up early learning for children, especially in marginalized communities. In Uganda, so far we only have about 25% of children accessing early learning. 25% of the children who are supposed to. The rest of the 75 don't. In Kenya, the number is better. I think the last time I checked was like 51, around 51%. And Zimbabwe was about 30% by the time we're writing this proposal. So Uganda, we are still very far. Part of the reason is that we do not have public nursery or early learning. But Kenya has, and Zimbabwe has. Uganda doesn't have. So it is the communities, it is the private persons who support early learning in Uganda. But some of them do it as a business. And therefore, it's only those who can afford will be able to go to school. And this at times sets a very dangerous path, because it's only those who have who will be prepared to go to school and stay in school and finish school, while the ones who do not have the money will not be prepared, and therefore they will not get better jobs, and they will produce children whom again they cannot support, who again will get maybe worse jobs, and they again produce children who will now also have poorer foundation, and so on. So that cycle may be there for some time. So the poor will get poorer, the rich will get richer, and sometimes crime will rise, because when you look at your neighbor and he has and you don't have, if you're going to sleep hungry and yet your neighbor's food is just hanging in the fence there, why don't you go and cut it and eat it? Because you are hungry, you'll cut it. And when they get you, they say you're a thief. Yet we're trying to survive. So, as I help family, meaning inclusive home-based early learning, which is an alternative form of early learning, we try to reach out to those parents, those families, marginalized communities, to also get something out of this. The 5 days, we are going to share lessons from the 3 countries, the 4 countries now. Norway has joined us. We're now the 4th country. I think there was Germany around. Is there some from Germany around? No. Okay. And we shall get more persons to make sure that we increase the number of people who are in this move to provide better quality service for our children. I want to recognize my PIs, Samson from Zimbabwe, and your colleague Joyce from Zimbabwe. Joyce, can you raise up your hand? Joyce. And the representative of the school management committee? There? Solomon Zikai. Chairman of management committee? Yes, chairman of the management committee. Zimbabwe is a bit far. We could not afford to put everybody on a plane to come here. So we just had just the people coming. Also wanted to introduce my other co-PI from Kenya. It's called Rose Atieno. But as Kenneth says, they are together lost. But we shall find them together. But the good thing is that they are headmaster of their school. In Uganda, schools are headed by headmasters, head teachers. For us who come from the communities, when you say a DVC something that is not very much understandable. But when you say a head teacher or a headmaster, okay, that is understood. So is the headmaster of their school. So it's here. He has come with them. So they were in a smaller vehicle that moves faster. The other group were in a bigger vehicle which moves slowly. Children move faster than the other one. So that's why they have delayed, but they are going to come. So I want to welcome you, DBC, from not Mount, but Masinde Muliro University. Welcome to Uganda, and welcome to iHELP. I want to also recognize, I think, the presence of a fourth partner. You know, we are 3 universities. The fourth partner is called Sense International. Where is that person from Sense International? Yes, someone from Sense International. Okay, you should be coming to sit in front here. We have been looking for you. Yeah? Okay, so being a community person, she's comfortable behind you there. Okay. So, you know, Sense International is an NGO that specializes in working with the children that have complex disabilities. They work with the children who don't speak and don't, I think, see. They don't hear and they don't speak. And some of them don't even see. So they don't see, they don't hear, they don't speak. The kind of challenge that is there to work with those children is very, very enormous. But they help us in assessing the children whom we work with in the centers. And we collaborate with another faculty of special needs here in the university. And one of the key persons from there is Dr. Lochoro. Okay. Okay. So, as you can see, Dr. Lochoro also helps us in working, in giving us advice on how to manage children with special needs or children with disabilities. I have other colleagues. I think that there's another colleague from special needs. He's called George Putos. Is he around here? Oh, he's up. Okay. Then you have a kind of the early childhood staff from the department, because it's an early childhood program. I want to introduce Sister. Okay, you have Sister Eva Bushinje. But now she has decided to take herself to Kalungu. So she helps advise us on the different things that we are going to do in those areas. We also have Dr. Josephine Apolot. Yes. Okay, so we have Dr. Josephine Apolot also. She has attached herself to a district called Buikwe. We have another one called Juma Katunji. Juma Katunji is not here, but it's attached to a district called Kalaki. Then we have the other staff was called Kenneth. Yeah, when you see a tall man standing, you know it's the one. So Kenneth is attached to a district called Kaliro. These people do a lot of work trying to coordinate the activities that go on there. But of course, in doing all of this across borders, across countries, that's why we have to rely on James, small boys. James Bulensbuto. Bulensbuto actually means small boys, nice boy, nice young boys. Okay. So as you can see him, he's a nice young boy. So has everything to do with the international relations. So I have a lot to say, but because of time, I want to ask somebody from Sense to come and say hello. And then as we get somebody from Zimbabwe to say hello, and then we shall have James say hello, and then we shall have the DVC. I think I'll then go to the next thing.
Thank you so much, Professor. Before she comes in, let us maybe also thank him. I did not tell you to use that format. I said let's thank him. I hadn't instructed. That is according to you. Okay, a good one, a better one, and the best. Now even others have learned. There are those who didn't follow. Let's go. A good one, a better one, and the best. Okay. We are learning. Everything is continuous.
Thank you very much. Our dear PI, protocol observed. I would like to take this honor to say good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to say welcome to our dear visitors from abroad. You're most welcome. My name is Namachika Lydia. I'm expert for deaf blindness. I support Sense International as the technical expert. Though I live in Uganda, I also work with Uganda district as the education officer in charge special needs education. I would like to thank you very much, Professor, and all the think tanks behind the iHELP project. I would like to bring greetings from Sense International. They would have loved it to be here. The programs manager and the project officer would have loved it to be here, but they are attending a meeting back at their office, but they send you greetings. I'd like to thank you very much, Professor, and everyone who is working hard to see to it that the iHELP project takes off in high gear. Indeed, this type of innovation is so good. It has helped children with disabilities to have hope for their future, because previously children with disabilities had no chance of going or joining ECD centers, because they thought if a child has a disability, they are supposed to go to special schools which are far away, and even the parents thought these schools are very expensive. They could not afford them. But now there is hope, and it has actually painted a picture that even children with disabilities can join all schools within their communities, and they can be able to study. It has also given them an opportunity to be able to share with their ordinary peers, and they can learn a lot through that approach. So I would like to thank you a lot. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to say a word. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I thank you, Prof. Eju, the only person who is known by everyone here. We thank you, our PI. We thank you, our leaders, vice chancellors, deputy vice chancellors from Kyambogo University, for welcoming us here from Masinde Muliro for leading us here, and all the people, including the programs manager here, who have made sure that everything progresses smoothly. So I want to give our greetings from Zimbabwe. Like Prophet said, our team is composed of 3 people. Myself, Samson Meja from the Department of Applied Psychology at the University of Zimbabwe, Dr. Joyce Tafrenyika from the Department of Early Childhood and Junior Education, and Mrs. Rekare, Miss Solomon Rekare. Can I allow you, ask you guys to stand up again? We from Zimbabwe are very happy. Yes, we are very happy. Please accept our greetings and our heartfelt appreciation. Yes, you can sit down, right? So Mr. Solomon Rekare is the chairman of the management committee for our first center. And actually it is housed at his home. And he has been providing very key leadership, and most centers are going to learn from him. But just to say, from the University of Zimbabwe, we do very much appreciate you. The University of Zimbabwe has approached a new type of education they refer to as 5.0, where initially there was just research, teaching, and community service, and they've included innovation and industrialization. So this approach is very innovative. We would not actually have dreamt of it. That's why Kenneth has been thanking Prof. Eju for dreaming about this and putting the ideas down so that the project can come to fruition. Things are progressing. Of course, there could be challenges here and there, but in Zimbabwe, the policy is there for early childhood education, but the issue has been in terms of access, especially in marginalized areas, where sometimes disability is also a marker for marginalization. And this project has helped a lot. What we have actually done is, in some of the centers, we have housed it at the homes where there are children with disabilities, sometimes actually under the care of grandparents. Apparently, if you are to look at the notebook, you will see actually us in when Prof. Eju and team came to Zimbabwe, we actually visited the centers, and you see at the cover page, you see that person is myself, and that woman at the corner with the red hat is Dr. Joyce Tafrenyika. We're at the second center where there is actually a child with disability. And you will see that people actually are eagerly listening and paying attention, and I'm addressing them and also enjoying. We are actually enjoying and we are learning. So far we have, we can say we have actually about 4 publications. Two that actually have seen the day, including our first policy review, which is this one. That's our first policy review. Myself and Dr. Joyce Tafrenyika, this is our first. Yes, but it's led by Prof. Eju, and it's for this project, but it's our first policy review. And we actually published 1 article last year, and we are working on 2 at the moment, and more are coming. And last year we had master students who actually worked on their dissertations on this project. And it's actually very important when it comes to community outreach, community engagements. So, at the moment we have 6 centers, and in the next few weeks, we are going to have all the 8 centers. But at the moment we have 6, 4 in the first district, which is Zaka, and in the second district, which is Bigita, there are 2. Then we are going to add 2 more in the next few weeks. So, I remember when Prof. Eju came, there were those ladies who were singing, they were saying, I'm going to sing in Shona. Shona is, so you are going to listen to Shona now, but I'm going to finish after that. They were singing, Kudzidza tichitamba, kudzidza tichitamba, kudzidza tichitamba, yeah, kudzidza tichitamba. In English is, learning while playing, learning while playing, learning while playing, learning while playing. The play-based approach. We are very much appreciative of this, and especially for coming here. We thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Maybe we can. Okay. Thank you so much. Before we listen to James, maybe let's stand up. Members, let's stand up a little faster. We can sit. We can stand up. Maybe sit. Okay. Yeah, there's some chairs made. Go home. Okay.
Wow. It is very difficult to follow my good friend. I don't know how to sing, so please do not expect. But I love the Shona, the words, the singing, the tunes. Fantastic. So thank you very much for that wonderful song. Our BBC, you're our guest, all the way from Kenya, and that makes us relevant from the international office because you are our guest as well as the office. And as I've already mentioned to you, we are looking forward to greater ties. And our colleagues from Zimbabwe, I've got many friends in Zimbabwe. I've not been there yet, but I'm looking forward to one day. We've cooperated on a number of things, especially with the University of Zimbabwe. It's been a while. I'm sure that we will get back to you as well. Professor Ju, thank you very much for organizing and facilitating the process of this sharing of experiences, but more importantly, on initiating and working with partners to come up with this wonderful project. You know that this journey, somehow we've been together. I still remember some years ago we went to Toronto, Canada. We visited a university college by the names of Seneca, and we had very good exposure on early childhood and also particularly learning through play. And I thought that was brilliant. You know, I appreciate you because you don't just hear things, but you bring them down and actualize them. I also know that we've been together in the Oslo Metropolitan University, particularly to still look at how early childhood is delivered there. And I think you've picked a lot of valuable experiences there. So I thank you very much for ensuring that you galvanize other institutions, come together and share this expertise. They also have a lot they've done and that we are also learning today. I wanted to just say that this university is, we call it, some people say it is old and new. We have a big history here. And that history actually is reflected in our specializations. So education is a specialization here because we used to have an institute of teacher education on this hill. And it was the main and highest level teacher education institution in the country. So that was brought into Kyambogo University. We also had a polytechnic, which was also at the helm of technical education, including technical teacher education, vocational teacher education, at the helm of it. So this is a powerful thing for us. It has also been part of Kyambogo University. Very important as well, and very well represented here, we had a whole National Institute of Special Education with tentacles in all the communities in Uganda. And it has also been integrated into the university, and it is a whole faculty in the university. And we're actually proud of being the first university to have a fully fledged faculty of special needs education and rehabilitation. So we have veteran professors who are here, who have been in this faculty for a very long time and have made fantastic contribution. I'm very sure that the Vice Chancellor would have loved to be here himself, but he had some other engagements. But I'm also aware that he has given us time to meet him later today. He has really supported this project. Early childhood is at one of the priorities to implement this project in the country. I just wanted to indicate that our colleagues who are here from Norway are students from Oslo Metropolitan University, one of our institutional partners. They are here for a semester, and they are doing internship in early childhood institutions, primary and secondary institutions, and vocational institutions, including nursing, to do with health, to do with sports, sciences, and so on. So we have a range of specializations. Allow me to indulge as I conclude. I know you'll be interacting more. Some people think they have very complicated names, being from Norway, but they also have very simple names that you can recognize. So I'll just ask them to only tell us one name that is familiar to this community, and just your name, and then you sit down. Is that okay? All right, just one name. Ankunda.
Hello, everybody. My name is Malaika.
Malaika.
Hello, my name is Nalongu.
Nalongo.
My name is Shirabo.
Chirabo. Okay.
My name is Subi.
Subi.
Hello. And my name is Nantume.
Nantume.
Good morning. My name is Muliro.
Muliro.
Hello, my name is Nachimuli.
Hello, my name is Birunji.
Hello, my name is Namata.
Hello, my name is Babazi.
Hello, my name is Nyangoma.
Wow. Thank you very much. Let's clap for them. To do their internship. They are also interested in our culture. They are interested in knowing a
take honor to invite the DBC to come and say a few words.
Thank you so much, Professor Chu. The Dean, the Director, Dial, that is Directorate of International Relations and Linkages, the PI for this project, for help, Professor Geoffrey Echu, the co-PI present here, Samson, Dr. Choice, Rose, and Dr. Lejol. The district education officers present, the district inspector of school present, education officer, our partners from Norway. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm really excited this morning to be among you as we start show of help. I'm indeed very happy to see things that are being done to improve the standard of education. As people living in this generation, the key word for all of us here seated today is that we have to make a difference. And the people who make difference in every country, every society, are none other than you and me. Early childhood education is very important. And many a time, it is neglected, and people think that you can just continue from just somewhere and just go to primary school, and go to colleges like that and finish. But people in education will tell you that foundation for everything is very important. Yes, it is, because if you look at children who are given good foundation, they tend to excel in life. What we don't understand sometimes is when we don't have a good foundation, it follows us in life. You find, let me give you an example. Like when I went to primary school, there was nothing like nursery school. We just went, and there was even, you just make your hands like this. If you touch your ear, go to standard 1. And you find that we continued, and how we were taught is not the way it ought to be. But we thank God that by the grace of God, God was merciful. But what I want to say is this, that at this, we need to really do things now differently. If we are keen at improving our education, then we have to come up with a generation that are well-trained, a generation that will be innovative in our markets, a generation that will be innovative in our communities. And through good foundation in early childhood, then we can have that generation. We have had, for example, back in Kenya, there are some areas where there is cattle rustling. And for a very long time, there was a lot of instability in those areas. But when the late President Kibaki came, he introduced something that is called free primary education. And many people went to school. And from that time, that area, the insecurity went down, and things have been normalized. And things have been normalized. It is through education that we can transform a generation. We have had a situation whereby we want to do back in Kenya 100% transition. That is, after primary, all the students, we ensure that they move to secondary. But it has been a challenge. And why is that? Because without that good foundation I was talking about, we are not able to do this. And then I come to the point, how can we manage to do or to achieve what we want to do in terms of making sure that early childhood education play an important role in our communities? I can say we have 4 pillars here that we need to really engage. I can see one of it, Professor Godfrey has done well, the community, which you see, it is the community that will help implement that. Because the people in the ground understand the problems of the people there. And they can be able to make sure that they encourage the people there to accept the new changes that are coming. But there is also the second point, that we need also the government, the ministry. I'm glad that the Ministry of Education officers are here, which is very key. Because unless you hold this as by a hand and walk like in the project, and then it won't succeed. Because we also need the support of the government. And thirdly, we also need the religious leaders. Sometimes we just tend to really ignore sometimes, but they are very key because they do also have followers. Whether they have followers whom they listen to them. And finally, I would also say that we also need the educationist, which is the university in this case. So when these 4 forces are combined together, we can achieve what we go for, and we will excel. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to end by just saying that it is you and me that we will bring a change in the society that we are in. We can only make a difference in what we do. Allow me to end with a short story here. There was a man who is known by the name Aliva. Aliva was such a perfectionist. So one time he was riding in a horse, and then somebody asked him, Aliva, how many legs does your horse have? So Alifa said, hey, wait a minute. He came down from the horse and started counting 1, 2, 3, 4. He said, my horse has 4 legs. And somebody asked, Alifa, that is obvious. Why would you do something like that? I mean, it's obvious that a horse has 4 legs. So Alifa told this man that it's not obvious. Things can change in life. What do I mean? We have to be thorough in everything that we do. Things change in life. So he has asked, does it mean I said, well, the horse can have 3 legs or it can have 5 legs. Things are never constant in life. Things change. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and I wish you that you are going to enjoy and learn a lot from this workshop. And let's spread the gospel that it is good education that will take us to places. It will change our economy. As we are talking, economies like Philippines, I think they said Philippines, about 70% are graduates. About a country like Malaysia, 65% are graduates. What do you see in those countries? So there is change that comes from education. And to get that, Professor, we need to make sure have a good beginning. A house without a good foundation cannot stand. So is the education. Unless our children get good foundation, then we'll have a generation that is half-baked. Not there, not here. With those few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I will just go through it very fast. I thought I was not going to make this presentation, but briefly, maybe you get to know where we come from. Let me start. So that is briefly about our university, Masinde Muliro University. We are based in Western Kenya, Kakamega. We are the 7th public university established in 2006 December, but given to be a university in 2007. Our motto of the university of choice, and actually our vision is to be a premier university in science and technology. That is why we have to be very key in education. Education is one of our niche area in the university. That's why we place education as a very important area to us, apart from other areas. Overall, this is the division I lead, is for research, and basically it's just to coordinate research, to deal with international relationship, and also to mobilize resources for research. We have 9 directorates, and the ones which are highlighted red, that is Directorate of Research and Postgraduate Support, Science Park and Innovation Center, Academic and International Linkages, Institution of Research Information Unit, and Extension Service. All those ones are the one that deals with disseminate research, where when we do the research, we disseminate to the community, and that is why we have this directorate to achieve our mandate. We have a population of 19,781 students and a staff of 1,400. Our programs, we have 47 PhD programs, 71 master's programs, 64 undergraduate programs, 5 graduate diploma programs, 31 diploma programs, 24 certificate programs, and actually 72% of our programs are in STEM. Statistic, that's what in terms of female and male, that's the way we are distributed. We have 12 schools, and the last one is TVET, that's supposed to strengthen our science and technology. We have, university-wide, we have 15 directorates, and that's our conduct. Thank you. I didn't want to take my time, Professor. Thank you, and God bless you. And good afternoon or good morning. I think we're still in the morning. So, good afternoon.
Thank you very much. If you were in class, I would now tell you to go for short call first of all. As they put these things together, I want to request the people of the high table here now to maybe sit this way so that you can see the presentations from this side. Okay. I want to just give now an overview of the project and what is happening there, so that when we go to the field the next days, we know what we are looking at. So first, the general objective is really about increasing access to early childhood education for marginalized communities. That is the main goal. Like we said before, we need more children in school in the early years, but then they're not there as they're supposed to be. Our objectives are generally to generate contextually relevant knowledge on home-based ECD. The second one is to strengthen the capacity of fathers, mothers, and other caregivers to be able to support the home learning. The third objective is mobilize for policy uptake. That's why we are developing different policy papers, policy briefs. I think you have now some policy papers to help influence policy, so that if this is strengthened, we shall have more children coming to school and having them prepared to be in primary. Right now we are having many children go to P1, but they don't reach primary 7 because of how they've been prepared. So the concept is about getting a home. One parent volunteers a home, and then the other parents around bring their children to that home. Then amongst themselves, they get other parents who volunteer as teachers, and then they hire 1 or 2 other teachers who are trained. So the teachers come to give instructions on literacy and numeracy, while the parents, on their part, they do life skill training, hygiene, songs, and number of other things that they do, which are not academic in nature. So the parents focus on socio-emotional learning, while the teachers focus mainly on cognitive development in terms of literacy and numeracy. So they kind of partner in this area. But within those centers, we also have parent education to really raise parent awareness on the need to support their children and provide more for them. We also have other integrated health services. For example, we encourage deworming, vitamin A supplements, and connections to the health facilities, especially for identification of children with some disability early enough, so that interventions can be given to them, so that we can help them early. Our routines are that we start from maybe 9 in the morning up to midday, and then we have Mondays and Thursdays are days for the parents to come and support the children. Thursdays and Fridays supposed to be for, Tuesdays and Fridays are for the teachers to teach the literacy and numeracy. Then Wednesday is a free play day where children play. And because play is very interesting, it ends up attracting all children within the community. And that's the bait we use for attracting the ones with special needs. And once they get interested in coming, they start getting used, then the special needs person start observing them and identifying their challenges and taking them to support services. We have now kind of tried to modify, we are trying to modify this by bring another day for a child-to-child session, but we are still having work in progress since this is an action research, and see how it also fits to the equation. We also have SACCO. SACCO is a savings scheme for the parents. Some parents come where they have no money, they have nothing to provide. So we have some money in the center. They come and borrow, go and do a small business, then they return this money to the center. But they return with some interest. This interest, part of it, they use it for facilitating the center. So that kind of thing. And also, they use some of this money to start other income-generating projects, as we shall be seeing at a later time. So we also having some open days towards the end of the term. The children try to exhibit the things they have done, what they have made from the school, so that they can show the parents that they are learning something, but also brings the community together. So far, this project is in Uganda, in Kenya, and Zimbabwe. In Uganda, it is in 4 districts called Kalungu, Kaliro, Kalaki, and Buikwe. And Sense International supports all these 4 districts. In Kenya, we are in Ikolomani sub-county, Kakamega County in Kenya. And in Uganda, we now have 16 centers, 4 in each district. In Kenya, we now have 6 centers opened out of 8. They are remaining with the 2 to finalize. Similarly, in Zimbabwe, we have in Zaka and Bikita districts, in Masbingo province, and I think they also have now 6 centers, remaining 2 more to be established to get the final numbers. As you can see from that picture, the parents are learning not to do things for children, but to start making children to do things, thereby learning skills. This picture is from one of the districts, and one of the parents might be here, who was there. The centers, as you can see, you have in Kalaki, you have a center. This side you have St. Martin. The other side you have a Sianut Center. So if you are going to go to the field, that is the destination. So do not expect some tarmac road and somewhat, but that is the kind of scenario you might get there. In Kalaki, one of the centers, you have to go by boat. There is no road to it. It's called St. Pius. St. Pius, it is you have to go by, so there's no road, so it's a boat. So if there's over rain, not going to school, not going there, because you can't make it. Then St. Peter's is the other side. It's just also starting, but growing. Those are the 4 centers in Kalaki. In Kalungu, you have a center called Chambala, this side. Then the other side is a center called Chikukumbi. Okay. Then this side you have a center called Buseke. You are going to see those children are adults. They are the kind of bigger children. Now, we are doing a partnership with what they call child to child, because the teachers come to the center few days. So we are partnering with the nearest primary schools to give us their children from primary 1, 2, and 3 to get time to come to the center to play with these children. In the process, they teach them the things that they have also learned, but also they become friends, so that when these ones go to the primary school, they already have friends. They don't fear to go there. That helps us with what they call transition. The children will move easily because they know they have their friends there. So those are now the other people who have come, and they're making that child in the middle to what? To skip with the rope. So he's playing, so you're going to get used to it, while the others are supporting. So it's a child-to-child learning approach that we're also piloting. On the other side, we have a center called Kalama. And then here we have another center called Kasoke in Kaliro now. On the other side, you have somebody called Kunya Center. This side, we have Wako Wambuzi. The other side, you have God's Grace Center. This side we have a center called Makota. Then the other one is Koba. Koba is the only wooden school. But I think in a few months to come, they will also have some wall, maybe. And I'm told one of the parents came there to pay school fees. The school fees is a bunch of matoke. So she's paying fees, and I think they are recording somewhere in the fees register. I mean, that's how they support each other. This side we have Baskerville Center. The other side we have Bujuta Center. You see, Bujuta has one of the most beautiful outdoor play materials, as you can see, and the others are striving towards it. Now this side we are in Kenya. Now in Kenya, this center is called Cardinal. The other one is called Umoja. Then this one is called Central. The other one is called Shima. Another one is called Shitoli. The other one is called Indete. In Zimbabwe, you have, I don't know whether I've confused the names or what, but there is Tashinga, and then there is Takunda. You know, these people in Zimbabwe, their names they're almost like Bantu names. Ankunda, and the other one was Ankunda. This one is Tankunda. Okay, so, and then, the other centers, by the time I wanted to get this, Samson was already on the plane. So I think we shall be able to have it later. So far we have been able to establish 28 out of the 32 centers. We have had screening for special needs. We have had publications. We are now having a next set of publications. They can be accessed from some of those websites. Then we have had some presentations in Europe. We have another presentation in Zambia next month, and we have another one in Sierra Leone the coming month as well. So we are having a lot of presentations to do with this. Livelihood programs. The centers are developing some projects. There's a piggery unit, Bujuta B. I think they're keeping pigs. Then shoemaking in Makota, they make shoes. So please, people from Makota are waiting for you to go and buy shoes. The shoes are there. Okay, so there are like shoes, slippers, and so on. So just spare some money. When you buy the shoes, you're not buying for yourself, but you're also supporting the center. And Bujuta, will you give us some of those animals as well? The animals, Okay. Kasokwe is on bricks. So if you want to build a house, you get bricks from there. Wakuwambuzi, I think they have something like onion projects. Like they have onions for sale. So we can buy some onions and come back here with them. I saw in Kenya they have a stall, a market. They have a market for the center, so the neighbors come to buy things. The parents contribute things. They bring things, they put there in the stall, and then people come and buy. Those are different ideas. Others are still loading. One of the greatest challenges that we are facing within this is still the dependency mentality. In many communities, the parents think we have money, we are going to give them. But we are telling them that we don't have money to give you, but we have knowledge to give you. So when we give you this knowledge, use it, you will become a better person. Because when you get money, you are going to eat it and forget. Then tomorrow again, eat. But if I will show you how to make your money, how you prepare your children, your life is going to be better. So still that's the problem that we have. Also, the challenge that we now have is an external one. The centers are getting better. And therefore, they are attracting children from the private nursery schools around. Now, those private nursery schools are starting to say, you people, why are you taking our people? At first, they were saying, no things. You don't want to work. It's useless. Nothing. Now the centers have come. Now you. Why are you taking our people? So we have to kind of maneuver. I remember in one center, they had even to force, I think, a center to close because they were taking children from, but the center managed to get another place and got to it. Now it is thriving. We still have weak monitoring systems that needs to be worked on. Then the problem is of stigmatization. In some communities, when they see that a center has got children with special needs, the others say, I'm not taking my child there. My child might get that sickness also. Because they think sitting near a child with special needs, you will get it. So we are still working towards clearing that as well. So we're trying to do a lot of sensitization so that we try to work with the parents from one community, going to talk to the parents in another community to see that they relate to each other. And meetings like this make them share what they're doing and what they know, and probably will become better. And we try to use influential leaders as advocates. I think we had one parent, I think, in Zimbabwe, whom the Samsons that talked to and brought to one of the center, and he was happy with what they're doing. And when he talked to their parents, then he said, I'm going to support this center. So he gave them the 20 mattresses. So he gave his center 20 mattresses. Now the problem was where to put the mattresses, But it was a starting point. In Kenya, I think somebody gave, 30 bags of posho, 30 bags of flour for the children to take as storage. These things can keep going on, and once people start giving, the centers get stronger. In some places, the centers have even got like these chairs for hire. The place becomes a community center. When people are going to have a village meeting, they come to the center now. So it becomes a center of attraction where people do many things from. So such things are a good thing to make centers work. But also to use of creativity incentives. There's something that we're trying to do in the centers, both for the parents and for the teachers. We're trying to work out a situation where we say, if any parent this month did something extraordinary in the center, we give you something. I think it was either 10,000 or 5,000. I don't remember what it was. Just some little money. If you just realize that you have done something, they give some 5,000. So you find in some places, some parents now say, even me, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So kind of stimulates development in the school. That's just one way. We're still looking for the others, since this is research, to see how to sustain them. We are now working towards empowering the district officials. That's why we have the district officials here, that they'll get this information that we are shared. So when they go back to their colleagues, they are able to continue. But the next phase now is we are going to start handing over to the district so that they are the ones to now do more of the work while we do less of the work. Because as universities, we don't stay in the community for long. We shall be pulling out and want to leave these schools to the districts. And we were opening the centers in phases. We started with some few, then you go to the other. So now in some place what you do is you get the parents from the old centers. You go and talk to the parents in the new center so that they share the experiences. So in the process, they're able to learn from each other. And then publishing more on scaling and learning from it. We're trying to work on gender, equality, equity, and inclusion. We're trying to make families to be in charge, and then focusing on children with special needs, and then stronger engagement of men in early childhood, because there are few. Even from here you can see our numbers as men is worrying. Yet producing children, we are equal. We're working with the Ministry of Education, Basic Education, the Curriculum Improvement Center. We are trying to develop a play-based curriculum that we are testing. Later, we are going to show you some of this, and then partner with SENSE, the local leaders, the district people. The other ones were still pictures, but that is what happens in the centers. That is how they are taught. That is chalkboard, and that is one of our teachers not afraid to play football. Those ones are cooperating. I don't know what they are cooperating to do, but that's the kind of homes that we have. And you can see these were slightly earlier pictures, but now we're kind of improving a bit. So these are children with special needs. That's where SENSE comes in so much. So those are the able parents escorting their children to school. The school is under the tree. So if you are looking for a good environment, so those are our games that we play from the centers. Okay, that is the university here now. That is Masinde, Muliro. That is Zimbabwe. Okay, that is that young man talking. So I wish I knew how to. So that is the Popia Kenya, the one which is stuck on the road somewhere. So we visit the university, and the DPC here now was gracious to take us to his office. You see he has a very big table. My technicians, I wish we had sound better. The sound. So that is Samson speaking English. So most of our centers, the play materials are wooden. We don't have metal because wood is easy to replace and easy to put up. No, metals, besides hurting children, there are also people who are very good at stealing them for doing other things. They think we're wasting time with them there. Okay. So these are these officials in Zimbabwe. And this one were the officials in Kenya. These are management committee people. So this is central in Kenya. So these ones, they are collecting food. And there they are digging, I think, school garden or something like that. So to support the center. Now that one, I don't know what she's doing. Either she's playing or doing what. And lunch is about to be ready now for the center. Those are volunteers who cook for the children. And those ones make bricks for work. Those ones, I think, laying foundation stones or what, something, I don't know. So that's when the classes started to be put up. So so the weekly routine, as we talked earlier on, so the days for the parents and the days for, so on the Parents' Day, so we have parents who have not gone to school, but they come also as teachers. The challenge was, can somebody who has never gone to school be a teacher also in a school, in a center? We said yes, because you can teach them, you can tell them stories, you can teach them hygiene practices. So as you can see, those are the ones, they're teaching them how to cook. And then the other one, how to jump up and down. This is food service. Now this one, I don't know what they are making. Okay, there's somebody, inspector there. Now they are making mats. So days of parents, that's what they do. So they teach them those skills. And then they take care of them. When they have a morning nap, that you have to sleep, so you have a mama there. And that one they are preparing matoke. That wash your cups and go away. Those ones are scrubbing saucepans. I don't know when they will finish it. Those ones have just come from the labor ward. So those ones are washing the clothes now. Okay. So those ones have earned a salary now. Okay. So now, time to wash hands, but also teaching patience and teaching them take turns. Now we are having a traditional dance. Okay. Now that's for the parents. So that's what the children miss when they do more academic. But on Teachers' Day, it is cognitive, academic, largely. So we have them trying now to write, trying to draw. So we put them in a class situation and try to do kind of formal things. With the parents, it is not formal. But with the teachers, you try to make it formal. So there is that balance. So they have gone to their drawing area. Of course, the other one is annoyed because they're taking the things, he has to kick it off. But that is how you develop the behavior. Slowly, they'll get used to it. Slowly. So that is one of our teachers. And now is, I think, almost lunchtime for them. She's taking her toys. They're having lunch. Time for parade, maybe. Maybe not they're recruiting police, eh? Okay. Then those ones, I don't know what they have done, where they are running. So those other ones, the child specialist is enjoying, and now they have cars, they are driving. I wonder where the other one is climbing. That's one of the parents from Kenya. Comes and rolls them and goes back home. And those ones are getting aprons. Now even girls now to kick the ball. So they have to support children with special needs. Now time to go away. So those things are done Tuesdays and Fridays. So Wednesday is a day for play. We just organize plenty of play activities for children. So the format, they're the ones to decide the format. So we make the parents to bring more materials. Those are maize cobs they're using for construction. And those ones are, I think, they're modeling, so on. Okay. So there are those who run around without touching the ball, but still they are happy. Or you can kick in the air and so on. So you can see on the play day, there's real life in the centers. So that is Joyce when she was still young. And then now, I don't know what they drank. So those are the parents. I don't know what they drank. And okay. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is briefly what happens in those centers. It's briefly the things we are trying to implement. We have not yet perfected the days. We're still doing a lot of training to make sure that the days really happen in the way that we are trying to dream. So this gives us ways of trying to make sure that we support playfulness. We support development of those creativity, those skills in children, so that they love being children and they're able to develop their potentials and be better persons. Thank you very much.
Let's be fair enough and thank Professor again. You see, I've told you, I haven't told you to go. A good one, a better one, and the best. Thank you so much, Professor. So I think you are seeing the reason when I say is our mentor and Sister Evangelista Masinde. This is beyond the knowledge. This is totally brilliance and wisdom. Thank you, Professor. After his presentation, I think some people are here pretending, but they want maybe to relax a little. Lydia, you are the next. I don't know whether you are ready, but we have to maybe get, shall we be fair to ourselves that when I say 5 minutes relaxing, we shall use 5? Are we sure? Okay, let's have 10 minutes of relaxing. Look at your watches. Let's come back at exactly 10 minutes after. Thank you. Now, for those who didn't register, utilize the same time, or if there are some materials you don't have, to pass by the secretariat here to register with us. Thank you.
Ain't you one of them girls? Ask you to dance, you say no, just to see how far I'll go. Your song comes on and your eyes close, that's when I know, yeah. You got your heart on lockdown, got a wall I gotta knock down. Kinda wanna do a shot now, come on now. You one of them girls that ain't trying to meet nobody, you're just here for the party. If I'm wrong, then stop me. You one of them girls, your number. You like to make us want you. You like to make us wonder if you're one of them girls. Cause I'm one of them boys who trade his whole world, yeah, for one of them girls who likes to act all quiet, sexy, not even trying. Yeah, you know I ain't lying. Damn right, you're one of them girls broke every heart in your hometown on the day you rolled out. Got 'em all wishing on stars now. If I found one of them girls that ain't trying to meet nobody, you're just here for the party. If I'm wrong, then stop me. You're one of them girls that ain't handing out
or yellow, you would say, hey, why? But at least it is a non-political color. No, here nobody uses it. So far. So far. Later we never know. Maybe other people may start choosing pink too. Can someone help us maybe get the people from outside without
soki omoni bombaka na motema ekoluka ndongo bandeko bomba makambo bomba makambo likambo eboma mboka bilobaloba likambo eboma mboka songi songi bandeko bomba makambo bomba makambo zala na mayele soki oyoki likambo zala na mayele ntango bakotuna yo bandeko bomba makambo bomba makambo obimi yo na moninga bandeko bosali ndoki bombaka na motema ekoluka matata bandeko bomba makambo bomba makambo okei mboka ya bato okuti likambo soki osongi bandeko bombaka na motema bandeko bomba makambo bomba makambo mboka bilobaloba songi songi bikumbakumba bimemamema bikundola kundola likambo bakundaki yo mpe kokundola soki okei na ndako ya moninga soki okendaki kolia lia soki okendaki kosenga senga soki okendaki mpo ozangi vanda kala tika kokumba makambo ya ngai keti ibune yekabo
Okay. Welcome back, members. We request that we have one more presentation. Then we have our lunch served. Then we shall proceed after. We said among our partners, we have Sense International that directly collaborates with the Faculty of Special Needs, and it is the team that is going. It is the team that is going to present.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are going to share with you a little on assessment which informs the let this child, let me bring him or her to the center. In other communities, other parents and the teachers go and inform these parents that your child can benefit from this facility which is being established. So that sharing of information helps us and the centers in identifying children. But when the children are already at the center, the teachers, the caregivers, and the parents also do further identification. What kind of special need, what kind of difficulty does this child have? They do this through observation. They do this through involving children in different activities. Then they ask the special needs mentors to come and provide more in-depth examination to establish exactly what kind of special need it is and what kind of methodology to use to help this child learn with others. But together with the sense, we then undertake formal assessment, either medical or other type of formal assessment, so that we are able to establish, apart from learning, what are the interventions the child requires. And so my colleague is going to take us through what we do and just a bit of what we do, but a lot of it is usually done at the centers, at the homes, and for medical and more formal assessment, we do them at the referral, hospitals, or the health centers that have facilities for that type of assessment. Lydia.
Thank you very much, Doctor, teacher, and mentor, for giving that preamble. As you can see on the program, we have Nalji Areste, who is not here, and then me, who is going to double. So, Sense International, as an organization, non-government organization, which supports children with complex disabilities, has assessment as one of the strategies of supporting these children, as they support children with complex disabilities to live, learn, and thrive. assessment is one of the strategies. And why assessment, which we also call screening. Like doctor has mentioned, that it helps us to confirm whether true or not this child has a disability, and to establish which disability, and to know which interventions that child may need. So our presentation basically is about how Sense International does its assessment. Assessment in itself is a wide discipline, but for Sense International, they do as follows. The outline for this presentation is understanding assessment, the types of assessment. Of course, we may not talk about all the types, but those we are going to embark on those ones that Sense does. Then we have specialists involved in assessment, then importance, why assess, and then we are going to look at how to develop an IEP and IDP. Understanding assessment here, they are telling us that assessment is a systematic way of gathering information about an individual in order to provide support. It aims at finding out the nature and level of child's learning potential and needs so that appropriate decisions can be made to enable him or her to participate actively. So basically, this is how we define assessment. Then we say we are going to look at the types of assessment that Sense International does. That's where you see we refers to Sense International. So they do medical assessment, which includes health assessment, nutrition assessment, device assessment, where they give children assistive devices that could need that one as an intervention to help them participate. Then we do behavior assessment. Like we can see under medical assessment, we are having some children checked by the doctors to find out about their health. Then we are having nutritional assessment. In this other picture, they are showing us a medical person. A medical person using some strip that they use in nutrition to establish to establish whether or not the way the child appears at that time is normal or below the required weight. They use this type of strip, and then it has 3 colors, like you can see, the red, yellow, and green. When you measure according to the child's age, when it's in green, it shows that child's weight is normal or ordinary. When it goes in yellow, it is warning. And then when it goes in red, it means the child is badly off. Why I'm showing you this, even teachers are supposed to have it. They can also be trained to do that assessment, because the way some of these children are, they don't feed well, and then it causes malnutrition among those children. And then the other side, we can see a parent being trained on how to feed their child. They are being showed a chart where there are different types of food that can help the child improve for those children who are malnourished. And then here we are having types of assessment continue. We also do function assessment, which includes functional visual assessment, functional hearing assessment. Done by teachers in their schools about a particular child. So where we have baseline assessment, where they establish the ability of the child in the different learning areas, like you will see them when we go to the IEP and the IDP. That's how they establish which areas, learning areas, the child has gaps, and they will find ways of intervening. Then we have baseline assessment. We have continuous assessment. As you begin implementing, you will need to see the way this child is improving. So they keep monitoring the child's improvement. That's what we call continuous assessment. And then terminal assessment, like at the end of the IDP program or IEP program, maybe the IEP has taken 6 months. You come up with that type of assessment to find out how the child has improved in a given period of time. Under function assessment, we are going to see the different ways how we do it. They are telling us it seeks to find out the sensory, motor, cognitive, functional ability of the child. And then here we are seeing a medical person trying to assess this child to see how their cognitive is. They are doing cognitive functional assessment. And then here they are telling us that it seeks to find out about the ability of the child's brain to pay attention, to learn new things in a given period of time, to remember. It also assesses how to remember, how to interpret particular things, how to respond appropriately, and how to communicate need, and very many other areas. Then here they are showing us visual function assessment, where they are telling us that it seeks to find out about the visual equity, the visual field, the contrast and sensitivity, color vision, and then light sensitivity. These terms are a bit medical, but I think we can say visual equity means how perfectly a child can see. Then visual field, which area can the child see? Able see, for example, we have those people who have what we call tunnel vision. So their vision is just around this area, and when you bring an object on the side, like the child will not be able to see. And you may think this child is blind, yet when fairly assessed, you can find out that this child can see from in front. And then we have what we call the tunnel vision. The peripheral vision, where the child may be able to see from the sides. Here, you may put an object directly here, and then the child may not be able to see. And then when you take it maybe around or up or down, the child may be able to see that object. And that means that child has what we call peripheral vision. And then visual contrast means, is that child able to see, to identify an object when it is on a particular surface and know that this object is just lying on this table, but I can pick it. Or the child just sees all the object and the background, as the same thing. And then color, is the child able to differentiate the different colors? Is the child able to perceive light? Basically, that's what I can explain about those. And then we have hearing assessment. This one seeks to find out about sound awareness. Is the child able to know that there is some sound around him? Then attention. Can this child pay attention to a particular kind of sound around? Then localization. Can this child know that the sound is coming from this side or the other side? Then discrimination. Can the child tell the difference in sounds? Like when mother calls, can the child know that this is mother? And when father calls, can she know that this is voice of the father? Then recognition. Can the child recognize the sound and know that, no, that sound is of a hen, that sound is of this, and that sound is like, is dangerous, or that is a bird or a cow mowing? And then comprehension. Can the child understand the meaning of that sound? What if maybe they are calling a child, can she or he know that they are calling my name? Then we have motor assessment, where we have, this is where they seek to find out about the child's muscles. I think there is an explanation below. Yeah, functional motor assessment. It finds out about the child's fine muscles. If the fine muscles are developed enough to either grasp, hold an object, carry, and manipulate an object. And then the gross muscles, or the bigger muscles, are they developing steadily so that the child can be able to stand, walk, run, jump, or do those other big activities that requires the muscles. Then we have here another topic: who does the assessment? Like I told you, at Sense International, that what they do is basically called the screening, where we have different practitioners or specialists that come together in a group to carry out and see the different interventions that can be done for children with disabilities. So we have ENT specialists. ENT stands for ear, nose, and throat. Those specialists basically find out about the child's hearing and about the throat and then the nose. But basically here we bring them on board to assess for us the hearing. Then ophthalmologists, those have to do with the sight. Audiologists, those have to do with the hearing. Then nutritionists, those have to do with the nutrition. And speech and language therapists, psychologists, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, pediatricians, and others. Even here below we have teachers and caregivers. We are also key in assessment, and we are going to see how we are key. Then we have importance of assessment. Why is it important to assess? Why do we do these assessments? One is to develop IEP and IDP for a particular child who is reported to be having a disability. Once screening is done and we find out that that child is truly has a disability, we need to have further interventions. Then for appropriate intervention and for referral, we could find that some of these children, some people cannot handle, so they refer. Maybe their cases are worse, others need medical attention, or they need to take some drugs, so they are referred. Then for proper placement, even in schools or classes, to know that this child fits here and not here. Then for better choice of approaches and methods to use while teaching that child, for choice of appropriate communication modes. For example, for those children who cannot talk or who do not hear, we shall need to bring on board sign language so that the child can be also brought on board and be able to participate actively. Then to provide guidance and counseling, this could be to the parents or to the child, him or herself. Some parents, upon realizing that they have children with disabilities, there is a way they become demoralized, and like Doctor talked about how some children are kept hidden in the houses. They don't even want people to know that they have such a child, so they end up hiding them. So some of the things that it helps, that assessment helps, is to do guidance and counseling, and to find the strength, and based on those ones to support, to find the child's strength, and based on it to support the child. And then here they are showing us that all that I have talked about is done through a multidisciplinary approach, and they are showing us different practitioners coming together, and children are brought. So each doctor will have to look at all those children and give their recommendations, referrals, or different interventions that the children need. And here, that statement there, as it reads, different specialists are brought on board to assess a particular child. Then here, they are telling us parents and teachers are also key in assessment. Because why? Why parents are key is that it's the parent who knows the child from the time of birth. You could need some information to base on to assess, much as the police, they need some background information that they base on. That helps them, and the parent is the one who knows the child's likes and dislikes, the child's weaknesses and strengths. So we don't need to leave them behind. Even the teachers do a great role, and on this note, I would like to thank the teachers who are here, who have accepted to take on the role of supporting these children. Because for them, their assessment doesn't end. These ones do a screening exercise, and they end it there, but it's the teachers who continue to monitor this child, to do the different kinds of continuous assessment, to see how and where the child is progressing. So I commend you teachers for the job you're doing. Then here we are seeing individualized education plan as a role of teachers. It's the teachers who make this plan to see what they are going to teach in the different learning areas. As we were talking about the baseline assessment, I was telling you about the different learning areas, and we are going to see them here. That the teachers need to assess and then see how to intervene. So it's a bit lengthy. Here it starts developing an IEP. IEP in full is individualized education plan. And then we have, first of all, the date when you're making it, the name of the child, the age, gender, the nature of disability, the school or center where the child studies, here they put class, though for us in our approach, in our project, we don't have classes. You can skip that one. Then any relevant medical information, we need this medical information because it's the one we base on to know how to handle this child. Then the learning styles, which approach are we going to use, which style, which modes of communication. Then here we continue. On this side we have the learning areas that we need to train this child in, and they include communication. I think we can go this way to look at all of them, then we shall come back. We have communication. How does the child communicate? Then we have social communication and social skills. Then we have activities of daily living, those skills that help a child to be independent. Can the child do them? Like in some schools or in some learning centers, teachers can be like, those children who cannot do poop on their own, we can't handle. So we need also to find out about the way they can be in position to help themselves. Then we have the perceptual skills. These are that's how is the child able to use the senses, the different senses, to understand his or her world. Then we have orientation and mobility. Is the child able to move from one place to another? Does the child know his or her environment? And is he able to access all the places in the environment, including the important places like the toilet, the bathroom, the kitchen. Then we have literacy and numeracy skills. Is this child may be able to sort or to arrange objects or to do this, to learn with others. And then this other side, I can go back to the learning area, like now communication. Here, the second column, they are telling us about the current level. How does this child communicate or socialize? So you indicate there, then targeted activities. After finding out that this child cannot say that I want water or I want food, but just points at the food or just points at a plate, what will you do to make sure that this child learns to do what? To communicate better. Because at one time pointing, maybe for you as a teacher, you know that when she points here, it means she likes food, but she may meet another person who may not know that. So which better way of communication can we use? Then objectives. Why are we teaching that child maybe to bring a plate instead of pointing? Then we have the learning materials. That one is easy. You just choose what you want to use for in relation to the activity. If you're training the child to maybe communicate need for food, you need, of course, to bring a plate, a cup, or your food. Again, don't bring toilet paper. Again, toilet paper will come on board when we are training, communicating. Down here, I mean activities of daily living. Down here. Then social skills. How does this child socialize? Is he able maybe to smile when there is a good happening? Is this child able to associate or play with the colleagues or the peers? So you indicate the current level. If maybe the child cannot share learning materials, you can state that one now as the activity that you're going to train the child, because sharing is key. That's how they can learn together. Then under activities of daily living, you also identify a skill. Of course, this one has many the teachers here know, but toileting is key. Then we have feeding, bathing, brushing the teeth, all those ones that have to do with the self-help. Then at another level, we may go to those ones after the child has learned those ones that have to do with the self-help. We may even train them the home chores, like we saw the teachers they are teaching. Maybe them to serve, maybe to sweep, and those other things that they do at home. Then still you choose the targeted activity according to what you want to teach. Maybe you want to train this child to go to the toilet independently. You indicate the reason why you want him or her to learn that. You indicate and materials you can use. Then perceptual skills, this one has many under it because it has to do with the different senses that we have, like the eyes, the vision, the hearing, the tactile, and those many other senses, like you know them. And we want to know, can the child know by vision that this is the ball? So we can go ahead to state down here, at maybe under vision, like under hearing, like under tactile, what the child can do in current level, and then what do you target to teach the child to do, maybe through vision. Why we bring on board this is that some children, like even those ones who are deaf-blind, have some little vision. We call it residual vision. That left vision, we want to see that it can be improved so that the child can learn to do what? To use it. Some children have, like I was explaining, the tunnel vision, but the teacher or the parent doesn't know. So we want the child to learn to use that tunnel vision or to use the peripheral vision. Then, under tactile, can the child grasp like objects? Can he pick them up? Can he manipulate them? Can he or she feel using the skin? So all that we do through assessing, and we find out those things that the child cannot do actually, and we train them. Then orientation and mobility. Like I told you, that this has to do with the child knowing his environment and accessing. Some children, you may find that their gross motor skills are not yet developed. So we help them to develop by training them, maybe to crawl, to stand, to take steps and walk. Even those ones who are blind need it. You can find that they know they can walk, but because of the difficulty they have in seeing, they cannot go to those different places without guidance. So you train them, like to using the different landmarks in the environment, so that the child knows that when I live here, where I sit, I can take like 10 steps and then start going upstairs, or start going the other side to play with my peers. So children need to be trained in all that. And below here we have an individualized development plan. It's somehow similar to the IEP, but this one seeks to see how the child develops still in the different areas. Like we have areas on this extreme end where there is areas. We have the sensory, the tactile, the sight, auditory, taste, vestibular, and that one is hard to pronounce. Forgive me about it. So, all these ones, like you can see, it's a bit related to the IEP. How the child is tactile skill, the sight, the auditory, and all these ones, they want the current level. You can indicate whether it's developed or it's developing when the child is just starting maybe to use it. So you indicate developing or already developed or not developed. Then the goal, why would you like to train that child in those skills, tactile skills, in sight, in auditory? Why do you want to train or to give these activities? In the next column, you indicate the reason as to why you feel that child needs to learn those activities. Then the next column, you indicate that strategy or activity. Which activities are you going to train that child in? Like I was explaining in the IEP, in tactile, are you going to train the child to grasp the goal? Why do you want him to learn to grasp objects or to manipulate them? Why do you want to train them? Then the precaution. As you're training this skill or activity, what don't you want to happen? For example, if you're training the child tactile, will you also bring hot water so that the child touches? Will you leave the child to touch everything, even those ones that can hurt him? So you put the precaution. And then the comments. The comment come later after you have, it's also like the IEP that you set a particular time. So after that time elapses, what has come up? Are you seeing any change and development after that period of training, that activity, or you are not seeing? So we also have the motor or physical. I have also talked about that, about the fine motor and then the gross motor. We also, what is the current level? Can the child stand? Can the child roll maybe? Can the child crawl? What can the child do at this level? Is it developing or not developing? Or non-developed, you indicate. Then the goal. Why do you want like this child to, like in fine motor, using these small muscles? Why do you want this child to use the small muscles? Would you like him to be able to grasp his cup and take porridge or tea by himself? You indicate the reason. And then the strategy. How are you going to train him? Are you going to use like objects like this one, this ball, which is spiky, such that, are you going to provide objects of different textures such that the child feels the different textures and is maybe is encouraged to touch them and manipulate them? Then you state the precaution and then the comment. Later, after the period, the set period, then gross motor. Of course, I explained that one in IEP, use of the bigger muscles. You indicate the current level. Why do you want to train this child to crawl or to stand or to walk? And then, or to use a wheelchair in case this child cannot do what? Cannot walk. Then we have communication and language. We have expressive communication. Can this child be able to express himself or to communicate need? Like, can you know that this child wants this or is uncomfortable or is crying for A, B, C, D when he wants something? What mode of communication does he use? And we want now to improve to him to leave that mode of just crying and maybe learn some signal or learn some sign or symbol. Here is where we bring in the symbolic and non-symbolic communication. Maybe at this level the child uses non-symbolic. but now we want to go to symbolic communication, to teach him to use communication which has particular meaning, not by just guessing. For example, if a child cried, we may not know what exactly he or she wants, but when he brings a plate or signs eating, we shall get to know that this child wants food. And then receptive communication. Is this child able to understand what you're telling them? If maybe you called or you gave an instruction, and the child be able to know that they are calling me or they are telling me to do this, and then he or she does it. And then you said, in case you find that it is not developed, you indicate and set the goal, and then which activity you're going to teach the child, then the precaution, what must not be done during this training, and then the comment later. Then we have the social and behavior. Still, we talked about social in the IEP. Is this child able to interact with their peers, to interact with the people? How is the child's behavior? Does he always throw tantrums? What does he do when he's annoyed? What does he do when he's happy? All those ones. After assessment, you set the goals. You indicate the current skill. You set the goal. Then the strategy, the precaution, and then later you will give the what? The comment. Then we have another area which is functional or self-help skills. Then grooming. Here it's just the language, but like I explained about the ADLs, here now the self-help skills are those ones that the child does to help himself to be independent. Then grooming and hygiene. Can the child keep his body or his around clean? Then home living, the home chores. What can the child do apart from self-help? So you indicate the current level. Maybe the child can bathe himself, can wash the face, can indicate a sign of wanting to go for long call or short call, but cannot move to that place. So you will now set the goal that I want this child to learn to use a particular place for toileting, to use the items that we use for cleaning himself, according to the level of the child. So you set the activity according to the level of the child. Then you set the precaution, and then the comment. So like I told you, all these ones are just the same as the what? As the ones in IEP. So community access is, can this child go to the community by himself? So with those very many words, I beg to end here. Thank you for listening to me. I'd like to welcome my mentor to supplement. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. In short, assessment is critical for helping a child with a disability, whether the disability is complex or not, to be able, one, to develop optimally, to learn how to socialize, play, do things like others, but with the limitations. Two, to learn with others. And three, globally, we are now going towards inclusive education through efforts to implement the Sustainable Development Goals. And the principle of the Sustainable Development Goals is leave no one. How do you say it in Uganda? Leave no one behind. Yeah? Can somebody, Kenneth?
Yes, please.
Leave and in Uganda, what is it?
Tobacco gole kama bega.
Uh-huh. In Lulamoji, how do you say it? Leave no one behind. Eh? Is it Kenneth? Is it? Hey, Kenneth. Hey. Oh, Kenneth is a multilinguist. In Lulamoji.
I think Lulamoji Lusoga they will still say tobacco gole kainuma.
And then Kalaki.
Ulida.
In short, you know, the Maasai of southern Kenya say a child is a child no matter what it looks like. As long as that person is human and living, he should not be left behind. And therefore, it is our role, teachers, parents, education officers, local government, and other stakeholders to raise awareness, to educate the parents and teachers to make sure that no child is left behind. And so through assessment, we get to know how best to help each child. Each child with a disability needs different strategies and different ways of supporting them to develop, but also to learn. Kenneth,
Yes,
can I
please.
summarize?
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Let's clap for our other expert. I think I'm now officially back. We should appreciate this team with a better one. Okay, a good one, a better one, and the best. Okay, now we welcome our other sisters and brothers from Kenya. We missed you so much in the morning. You took a good decision to get lost altogether. Good enough. You were in a team. So we found you in a team. Stand up for recognition before we go ahead. Please, kindly. However, they are so smart. You see. Let's clap for them. You're welcome, Kyambogo University. We cannot say you came late. You only joined us later. You can have your seats. Next on the program, I'm assuming you have all the material with you, Professor. You're welcome back. Next on the program is lunch. And the team, the other side, say they are ready. We said before we go today, we shall have our shirts given out, such that on Wednesday, we all appear the same in one color as a team. Yes, I've been assured that they're enough for all of us. The kitchen team, are we ready? They are ready. We saw prayerfully again. In the morning we had a gentleman and a lady to, but we have a sister doctor. You know, protocol when we have such people in a society, we don't look for who to pray because they are addicted to that and they have more good words to use. If I pray, I don't know what I will say. Sister, kindly.
Okay, let us pray for the food before us. God our Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, we want to thank you for this day. We want to thank you for our friends who have arrived safely. We want to thank you for all those who have participated, and especially those who have led us into this session. And we want to also thank you for those who have prepared the meal before us. We ask you, Lord, to bless this meal, bless those who have prepared it, bless us also who are going to receive it, that it may give us strength and health, that this workshop, this conference may go on well. We ask this through Christ our Lord.
Thank you so much, Sister Dr. Eva Masinde. I request we take on the same protocol used in the morning. However, I request that the ECD team, you lead the, now this is from Buyikwe. Buyikwe commander, kindly you lead these big shots to the other place first, then we send other people to follow. Professor and your team, we request you accept our request that you go and join the other lane first. Yeah, by the way, this is a good payment. To people who lost, they can join the lane first and they see what we have been enjoying. So kindly, as Professor Charles Mutai goes, let the other team that joined us later join you. Thank you. Nice lunch. Regarding the tables, same format like we did in the morning. Touch in the middle, pull it, slide.